Well, I'll let you guys, because I did not finish Antebellum. I was watching it, did not get a chance to finish it before this show. So our next film is going to be the Antebellum, the Janelle Monae film. And Chase and Nick both saw it. I did not, so I'm going to let you guys take it away.
Nick, you go ahead first.
Okay, so Antebellum is selling itself as a modern day slave story. It's directed by a duo named Gerard Bush and Christopher Rentz. Now, I believe this is their first feature-length film that they're directing. It stars Janelle Monae. It's selling itself as from the producers of Get Out and Us, but it's not a Blumhouse movie, which is kind of strange because this feels like something that's right up their alley.
Yeah, this movie. Keep going, Nick.
Yeah. So, initially when this starts, this feels like a very run-of-the-mill slave black struggle movie. But then there comes a point where the perspective shifts and it's in the present day. And I don't know about you guys, but I saw the twist of this coming a mile away.
It actually took me a while to catch the twist, but I think that was only because the first half really lulled me to it's hard for me to watch a slave movie as a black man in America that has seen far too many slave movies. So
true.
After a while,
I feel like after 12 Years a Slave, we can just be done with slave movies.
We might just throw the whole genre away right now.
Exactly. You're never going to top 12 Years a Slave.
But it's more so just the fact that it felt like the movie didn't really do much different than any other slave movie did, except for the twist that was coming. What really broke for me was when one of the slave owners had his cell phone out, and then I was just like, wait. Oh, is this like a time traveling thing, or is this like The Village?
Okay, so first off, there is nothing supernatural going on in this movie.
Yeah.
Which I was a little disappointed by, because I feel like that's a storytelling device that doesn't get used a lot. It could be like, hey, just showing the horrors that can come with time travel if you're anything other than white.
Yeah. That's what I thought that they were going for, because it was like, all right, the cooler story would be, all right, so these guys are time traveling slave catchers, and they're just catching people left and right. Now granted, that sounds a lot better than the actual story. That's not what it is.
That sounds like a much more entertaining movie. And going back into the things I like about this movie, I think it's shot very well. I like the score in it. I think Janelle Monae's performance, I think she's fantastic in this.
Yeah.
But everything that this movie is doing, it feels clunky. I couldn't really connect with any of the characters because none of them feel like real people. Even when it's in present day, it feels much like if Ryan Murphy was trying to tell a slave story. It's very.
Everybody. Oh, I was just gonna say everybody just felt like cardboard cutouts of stereotypes.
It felt like it felt like caricatures of what someone who never really talks to people thinks people sound like.
And for all we know, that very well may be the case, But I mean, you would think that, since there were two people writing and directing it at the same time, that they would at least talk to each other enough for the dialogue to kind of sound convincing. But it's just not. The first half of the movie's a drag. You know what really pissed me off about that twist though, Nick?
Yes. What?
The Faulkner quote.
Oh.
Where they say,
Yep.
There's no such thing as like the past or whatever. It's you know what I'm talking about, like the present. So that's why I thought the time travel aspect was gonna be introduced. I thought that would have been so dope and so relevant to the quote. But it's not. So. Yeah.
Exactly. This movie is nowhere near as deep or insightful as it's trying to be. And first off, Hollywood, don't put like Faulkner quotes in your movie, especially when your writing is not on that level.
Yeah, you can't quote somebody and then not deliver it, especially on the actual premise of his quote. Like, all right, can we? Because we kind of already spoiled the whole movie. Can we just talk about it without dancing around it?
Yeah, I mean
unless Josh, you're gonna try and watch this.
Yeah, Josh, are you
already,
so eager to find out?
I already know the twist.
Oh, what's the twist then?
Okay, so.
Oh, the twist is.
All right, let's do like Chase. Let's both do our final thoughts, give a rating, and then we'll get to the finer details of this movie.
Finer? That's a word for it. So, I guess for my review, the characters are underdeveloped. It's shot well. That's like a good thing. It's shot well. Despite the main character still being very underdeveloped and having pretty much nothing to do until the end, Janelle Monae does do a powerful job in terms of conveying her emotions through the character. And for all those reasons, I'm probably gonna just give this I'm gonna give it a 4, because it's not like, I feel like Janelle single-handedly is carrying this movie to the finish line for a 4. Like, she put up like 32 points and the rest of the team put up like 0.
Alright, so going back to what I like about this movie, I think this is shot really well. I think the costume design, it's very good when they're in the slave times in the 1800s. All the costumes, they look great. I think the score is really well done, and Janelle Monae, she is fantastic in this role, but this script and the dialogue that she is being asked to deliver, it is not worth her time. And kudos to her, because she is trying. And I admire this movie because it's trying to make some very profound statements, but all of its portrayals of like the horrors of slavery, I don't feel like it's using it to tell the story. It's used purely for shock value.
Yeah, like a certain character is basically just there to be tortured, and I was just like, all right, that pissed me off.
Yeah, very much so. And the twist, it feels a lot like that movie Serenity, the Matthew McConaughey like fisherman movie. It feels like a twist on that level. But I want to rate this higher because there's a lot about it I like, but it does not live up to the potential that it has with the amount of talent that's on screen. So because of that, I have to give this like a 4 out of 10.
Okay. A question I had about the film, because People point out a lot of similarities too. I don't know if you guys know the film Kindred by Octavia Butler. I mean, know the book. Sorry, the book Kindred.
I have the book on my wish list, but I haven't bought it yet. I do know it though.
Yeah.
Is that what this is based off of?
Well, a lot of people point out similarities between the two because the book, it's a time travel story, and then when people saw it, they, especially just the trailer, they were pointing out narratives because it's about time travel and it's modeled on slave narratives. It's a book that came out in 1979. Very widely popular book. And it's kind of a lot of similar kind of situations because it's documents like a young African American woman, and she's like a prominent author, and like it's in Los Angeles, California. Was Janelle Monae was the film supposedly she was working from Los Angeles, or was it supposed to be another location?
That's pretty much on point. She was an author, I'm pretty sure. She was like a spokesperson as well. And I think she was working out of LA. Was she, Nick?
Yeah. Some of the locations, they definitely looked a lot like LA.
Yeah.
Or Atlanta, probably. Who knows?
Like...
They don't really establish like where this movie is set.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Because it seems like the Janelle Monae figure in the film, she's like maybe like kin to like a Oprah-like figure, like she gives seminars kind of, or maybe that's not the proper comparison. Maybe she's more like a, who would you say, like a person who, like, I mean, who'd probably be a better comparison?
The only person I can think of, unfortunately, right now is Steve Harvey when he was dropping those Think Like a Man books and he was going around tours and stuff. But she's basically just an author. But she's an author that goes on tours and speaks on like news platforms.
Yeah, like and her books are primarily about race in America and systematic issues regarding Black people. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So you can see there's some similarities there that people, you know, that have derived from that book that people kind of pull from. They go like, "Yeah, well, this is kind of like this, and this is kind of like that." But the directors of the film, they said that no, it's our own story. It's something we made. Are the directors, are they both Black, or are they both white, or is one Black, one white?
They are both white men.
Wait, I thought one of them was Black. I thought, or biracial. I can't tell anymore.
I'm looking at their IMDb right now. They both Christopher Rentz, he is white, and Gerard Bush, he is Black.
Okay. He's light-skinned. Nah, he's not really that light-skinned.
So, go ahead and add that retraction, or just let me take my L, I guess.
Yeah, no, you're taking the L, buddy. We all take L's. we all have taken an L in this podcast so far.
A little bit.
This is your L.
So you guys want
but I mean, it still doesn't justify the fact that this movie doesn't really touch upon the issues that it wants or thinks it is. Because when we were talking about what her occupation was, talking about just like the systematic oppression of it all, of slavery and the effects of it, this movie should have been about time travel, bruh. Kind of more leaning towards the book. Yeah, I mean, if they, and I know that they're trying to say that, oh, this is our own original piece, but if they get sued, I can't blame the author, because
this is their own original piece, in as much as my freshman term paper was, in which I definitely did not cut and paste from Spark Notes.
And my first book definitely wasn't based on Avatar. Or an Avatar fanfic at all. And yeah, they should have just leaned into the book more. This
should have been a genre story.
Yeah, Because that's the problem with all these like slave movies, is because nobody's really saying or telling anything new with the genre. It's just trauma for the sake of trauma.
What do you think they were trying to say with this movie? What do you think the main message was?
It should have been the Faulkner quote, but it really wasn't.
I feel like they were trying to address like systematic racism in America and talk about the uphill climb that black people face, but it's done so clunkily that I literally had to think for like an hour and a half after watching this movie.
I don't think this movie has a really good message. I might have to lower my rating.
Okay.
Because I'm thinking about everything that happens, right? Not just what the characters are trying to tell us what this movie is about, but what actually happens. And we start off, Janelle Monae's character is a slave in what we are believed to be is Confederate South. Then she does that whole wake up, and it's still Janelle Monae playing the character, and we're led to believe that the story is going to be taking place from kind of like a present and past kind of narrative, where Janelle Monae's character is kind of just like her story is somehow connected to that past version of or ancestor story. But then we get the twist with the village twist, where it's basically just like, oh nope, she just got kidnapped, and this park is essentially a low rent version of Westworld. Yeah, and I don't think that the movie really knew what it was trying to do in that sense.
It feels like they had a concept, but they were just writing this as they went along.
Yeah. And they just led with the first draft. They didn't like do revisions or anything. They were just like, all right, we got it here with the first draft. Yeah, no, I can't really tell you what the message is supposed to be, because it doesn't really make sense. It tackles a lot of very like actual real issues, but just in a very subpar, what's the word?
Mediocre.
Shallow? Yeah, mediocre. Yeah. Mediocre works. Because you have the slavery issue and the effects of slavery that they don't really tackle with Janelle Monae's character per se. They just throw her into the situation. And I'm trying to think what she gained, what she learned, what was like the purpose of it. But it's like she has like the whole flashback of her before she got kidnapped, and then she gets kidnapped, and then she's like, all right, I see old girl that was just torture porn kill herself. And then I'm like, all right, bet we're leaving. And that's the movie. Like,
exactly. I feel like this movie has a similar problem with like Captain Marvel, in that your lead protagonist, she doesn't really have an arc. She's more or less a passive character. Stuff is happening to her, and she is not the cause of anything. She is reacting to everything that's happening. Yeah. But that leads to just a boring protagonist, and one that I can't really relate to.
And I think the difference between, say, this movie and 12 Years a Slave is that the protagonist of 12 Years a Slave has agency. He has a goal. He has a mission. You know?
Yes.
That is very much established within the first, like, 10 minutes. With this, you know, I can assume that the goal is to be free, but there's none of the beats that kind of just make it pay off. It's like Dude, I don't even know. This movie's kind of frustrating me because I'm trying to like convey why it doesn't work, but it just doesn't work. There's not enough going on for it to warrant it to like her victory at the end.
Yep, the best thing I can say about this movie is that it is short. It's like, I think the runtime is an hour and 40 some minutes.
Yeah.
And
It probably should have been shorter. Like we could have. I really could have done without some of the scenes with the one lady, being beaten up by the Confederate dude. I could have done without that scene, honestly. Like
In the bits that I saw, so like I said, I only saw like majority half of it. I had like 40 minutes left of seeing the film. You see, the beginning of the movie, how she's supposedly in this Confederate, the South, how she's being treated, and it cuts to her in present, well, not in present, but it cuts to her before she ended up on that place, and you see kind of the attitudes she's facing from white people in just modern day society, whether it be the person who's working behind the desk when she tries to check in for a hotel, whether she's trying to make reservations, I think, for a restaurant. You see, like, when she goes to the restaurant with her friends, that she's being seated in an area next to the kitchen. You see when she's talking to Jenna Marble is her name? Jenna Malone. Jenna Malone.
I was about to say, was that the white girl?
Yeah.
Jenna Marbles was playing her friend.
Jenna Malone. You see, like, the way she talks to her, and you see kind of those kind of subtle racist things there. So, do you think they're trying to parallel the treatment that black people faced back then during slavery and parallel that treatment that black people face now in society from white people now?
They were trying to, but there was no story behind those beats. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They were trying to, but no story beat gets enough development to where that's coming across. It feels like stuff is just happening on screen.
It's a bunch of jumbled ideas that don't really add up.
Yeah, because it seems like, because the brilliance of Get Out was that the way it could talk about white liberals, right? And the way it could talk about, like, the way white people, who are, liberals, talk to black people in a certain manner, in a certain way. And how that
how so-called woke people still have subtle racist tendencies that they don't even really think about.
Yeah, and they use the premise of that kind of building on that kind of initial concept of discussing racism with white liberals, of white woke people, white blue check mark type people on Twitter, those types, and built it into a story they still had to discuss the story, and they still built stuff around that. So it doesn't seem like that you keep saying, like, this movie just doesn't do that. It doesn't build on those initial concepts and ideas of critiquing society and critiquing racism. It just kind of just throws them at you and doesn't really take them and do anything with them.
Yeah, it just says, oh, this is here, we should do something about it, and then we don't do anything about it. That's kind of just what the movie is. It's like a barbershop discussion. You know what I'm saying? Like, we talk about all the solutions and stuff that we have in our heads, and then we don't do nothing about them. I wanted to pitch this idea to you guys. If the movie was a parallel between the slave Janelle Monae and then the present day Janelle Monae, and it was paralleling her experiences as the slave trying to be free, and then Janelle Monae's experiences as a black woman in America trying to be free of a situation. You think that could have been a better movie?
Maybe. Maybe they could have like talked a little bit about how trauma is inherently passed down from generation to generation. But
like Deja was talking about earlier, yeah.
But I think that that kind of story needs to be handled by a better director.
Right.
Yeah.
Because these two aren't.
I'm just trying to throw out ideas that could have saved this movie.
So do you two want to give your like a final wrap up, final thoughts on it?
Get the bootleg, dog. It's really not that good.
Yeah, this is not worth the $20 to rent.
I'm sorry.
Wait till the price goes down, or allegedly watch it.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Janelle Monae. I take that back. For you, wait for the price to go down.
Okay, because so now Janelle Monae, she's going more and more into acting. You know, people know she's a big musician, really great musician. She's made a lot of really great albums.
The hardest working woman in the show business.
Yeah. Do you know the name of her last album? 'Cause I really enjoyed it a lot. I'm trying to think of what was the name of her last project. Dirty Computer, I think was the last one she did, if I'm not mistaken. And I thought that was really great. And, you know, as an artist, she mixes a lot of like funk, rock, pop, even a little bit of kind of hip hop in some aspects. Like, she's one of those type of people that can really blend all those elements together and make them sound really great. And now she's doing more and more acting. Like, she was in Hidden Figures. She was a supporting character in that. That was a movie with Taraji P. Henson, Octavia Spencer. She was also in that movie, she has a TV show coming up. That's gonna be on what was it, Apple TV streaming service, or it's called Philip. I think Electric Dreams.
Philip K. Dick's Electric Dreams.
Yeah, it's Electric Dreams. Yeah, and that's on Prime. That's on Amazon Prime. And then, so when you see kind of often musicians kind of foray into acting, sometimes they can be very, very good in supporting roles. You know, like Justin Timberlake, like when he was in Alpha Dogs or when he was in Social Network, you know, he can be really, really good at supporting characters, especially when directed by a very, very good director. Do you think Janelle Monae...
And then you have Beyonce, who just plays herself in every movie. And I feel like Janelle Monae, she's kind of like that medium, where she really needs a great director and writer to get the best out of her.
Right. So do you think she's capable of leading a film, or do you think she's better regulated as a supporting character, like in something like Moonlight or Harriet or something like that? Do you think she can actually, with her talent and charisma, do you think she can lead a film and be a successful film actress? Lead it.
I mean, this is my opinion. She carried this movie.
You can see her hunched over from carrying this movie.
Yeah, her back must be hurting. But yeah, I think she can lead a movie. It's just a matter of getting a good team of directors, writers, and the supporting cast behind her, because she is by far the highlight of this movie.
Okay. All right. Well.
So I think she can do it.
It was a shame.
How about you, Nick?
I agree with you completely. She is absolutely the best thing about this movie, and she is working her ass off with what she has. But unfortunately, what she has isn't good. Or,
she's like this is like LeBron and the Cavs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She's dropping like 50 points. She got like 20 rebounds just off the last scene alone. And she's just by herself with no support. Like, none of the villains I really felt like, I didn't really feel anything when they died. There was no emotional connection.
You didn't feel happy?
I was just like, yeah, that's my girl. Okay. You know what I'm saying? But that's about it. Like, I wasn't like, ecstatic or anything. Like, oh damn, like this situation's bad, but like I don't hate these guys enough because I didn't barely see them. You know.
All right. Well, it was a shame.
They're not good villains.
Exactly. This movie needed like a Michael Fassbender from 12 Years a Slave. It needed a guy that despicable.
Really? Because I thought, I mean, that the main guy, who's like the general, guy.
He was ass.
So you don't think he was playing a good villain, like a good bastard that you really wanted to see die?
He was just every other slave owner bastard. Like, I hate him off rip because I'm supposed to, but like I didn't like when he got killed, and I hate the fact that the black man had to die again. I hate movies that do this, where they have the strong black man have to sacrifice himself. They could have both gone together. Anyway, yeah, no, I just didn't feel anything. Sorry for that tangent. I just didn't feel anything for them. Like, he doesn't have enough to work with for me to hate him. He's just like, hey girl, be quiet. And then he goes away. And then he's like, comes back in when they're talking, and he's like, hey girl, be quiet. And then he goes away. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, he doesn't really like work with much to make me hate him. I wish he did, but
and we're talking about
grade it.
Jack Houston, who was in Boardwalk Empire. He was the guy who had like a piece of his face missing in Boardwalk Empire. I loved him in that series. I thought he was very, very good. But you said you want to give your final ratings?
Oh, I thought we already gave our ratings.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think we gave our ratings. I think both Chase and I were like 4 out of 10.
Yeah, this shit is ass.
Okay. Shit is ass. Yeah. All right.
This movie, it's not good.
I'm sorry, Janelle.
All right. Well,
I'm so sorry.
Me too. She is so talented, and she's such a great performer and an artist. And in the few times that I've seen her act, she's fantastic. I just wish that she was in a better movie.
Yeah. You gotta get a better agent.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she's got a good agent. She's been in good projects. It's just she struck out with this one.
True. You can't hit everything.
Yeah. What's a shame that Antebellum.
Hey, for every Moonlight and Hidden Figures, you get this or a Welcome to Marwin.
Yeah.
Everybody listening to this, hey, find us at Twitter, Afternoon Tune, Facebook, Afternoon Tune. Check out our Facebook page. If you're listening to this video, you already know what to do. All right, do all that fun stuff that helps support us. The liking, subscribing. You already know how to do all that jazz. If you want to send us an email, theafternoontune@gmail.com. Chase, final word to the people.
Peace. You can find me at Mr. Chase Mack at Twitter, Instagram, wherever.
Awesome. Nick.
All right, thanks for listening, everybody. You can find me at Night and Day Nick on Twitter and Instagram.
And to all you people out there, whenever you're listening to this, hey, don't forget to always stay tuned.